everybody. Welcome. It's Callum here, and this is our next episode of Tech Build Network Conversations, where we welcome CTOs, founders, and senior engineering leaders to have a conversation about what's going on at the moment. And we're delighted to welcome Fabrice Schuler, who's the CTO at Kefron. So, Fabrice, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation. Lovely to be here.
Amazing. And just in terms of introductions to our audience, Fabrice, kind of at a high level, what do you and your organization do?
Absolutely. So Kefron has two different sides of business, one which is physical documents handling, and the other part is delivering SaaS automation software to process accounts payable. This is for the company, and for me, as you can hear, obviously, I'm French. I've lived 40-something years in France, studied in France, worked in many different companies as software engineer first, then quality engineer, quality manager, and definitely to the dark side of management, handling several teams, and now being the CTO, handling the CTO role at Kefron.
Amazing. And the series is called Tech Build Network. I suppose one of the big questions of the day is, Fabrice, what is taking up most of your attention at the moment? Is it building the team? Is it building the product?
Tough question, because I think it's a bit of both. To that, as managers, we have to handle really the two sides of the same coin. So it is, for the moment, it's mainly focusing on the platform. We have some challenge here to face, we need to solve before we really properly scale. The team is amazing. I know I've joined for just a few months, but they are really amazing, giving all they can to solve the issues and build a better solution.
Yeah, excellent. And what you can speak in high level terms or go into the weeds if you like, Fabrice. But what's the biggest challenge when you're trying to scale a platform?
For me, the biggest challenge is to deliver something production ready. What I mean is that, especially with AI today, anyone, including me, can really easily draft a POC, so a proof of concept, basic software that we can demo to anyone, technical people, non-technical people, and it's just amazing. However, to transform this piece of software into something which is really ready to handle thousands of whatever, handling hundreds, thousands, millions of customers, things like that, this is the main challenge that I think most people face.
Yeah, no, incredible. And the stakes are high when you're getting something into production. So you said the magic word, Fabrice, not I, in terms of AI. So you've had an incredible career, that you mentioned started in France and has brought you, thankfully, to Ireland to bring your skill set. But how much, even in the last 2 to 3 years, has your role and your day-to-day changed because of AI?
Much and not that much. What I mean is that when I started working, after my study, we already had some code generation, and everyone was already saying code generation is there. You probably don't need really to learn coding. That was 22 years ago. I'm not saying that 22 years ago the software was the same than today in terms of generation. The last tools are just amazing, clearly, but I think we still need to have very skilled people at all the places to ensure that we build the right thing. And here I mean really all the chain, from product to software engineers to managers to quality to security, all this kind of stuff. Yes, we can probably use help of AI to improve into and to get better productivity or better ideas or refine ideas quicker. But in the meantime, you still need to have this experience and this knowledge, which really makes a difference between some clunky software that might be really nice but is not production ready to
Mm.
the really nice software that you can rely on, and you know that hopefully you will not have too many alerts at 3 a.m. in the morning because something broke.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll have been hands-on to different degrees, and your team members will have been hands-on. What do you think has been overhyped, and what's been genuinely useful for you?
Overhype is AI in general. What I
Okay.
think, no, I'm using it. I'm definitely in favor of it, pushing my teams to use it. What I mean is that sometimes you don't really need it. And it
Okay.
was the same 10 years ago with cloud. It was the same 25 years ago with internet. At some point, you probably just don't need such a tool. And it's really a great tool, amazing capabilities. But do you really need it to build something really, really small, almost like a hello world? I'm not sure. If you are a
Mhm.
software developer, you can probably write that in 2 minutes without any external problems. You don't need AI to do that. So
Yeah.
at some point, you really need to understand where it's important to go and use AI because it will have a huge, massive impact on your delivery, whether it's in terms of quality or security or time to deliver, definitely. And sometimes you just need to sit back and relax, I would say,
Okay.
and just consider the big picture and say, well, I know how to handle this. It's really small. It will take me 10 minutes. And maybe with AI, if it takes 10 seconds, then it's worth it. But if with AI it takes 9 minutes and a half, and with just a keyboard it takes 10 minutes, then it's not worth using it.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. And in terms of actually, building teams, this one's more of a personal question for you, Fabrice. And what's one belief you have about building teams that you think maybe others would disagree with? Or
I like to have teams with different level of experience.
okay.
My ideal team would be 2, 3 juniors, let's say 0 to 3 years of experience, two,
Mm,
three middle experience, and 2, 3 very seniors.
okay.
It's basically because juniors will bring the envy to change everything. They are not afraid by breaking everything, and you need at
Yeah.
some point to be challenged on this.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the experience will have faced many issues. They have taken so many problems and things like that, and they would be more reluctant to change everything, and they can balance a bit that saying, no, we will not use this beta tool which has just been released 10 minutes ago to put all and sorry, rely on it just for our production. Maybe
Hmm.
we do a POC, why not? Maybe we test it, yes, to UAT, why not? Not for production yet. And
Okay.
you need a balance like that. I know some people prefer to have very skilled, and it's not thing to be with a skill, it's a question of mindset.
Mm,
And I really think that whether you are in a company for 3 weeks or 30 years, you have the right to challenge everyone, challenge the status quo, and bring new ideas, ask all the questions, and you can have very good questions after 3 hours and very bad questions after 20 years like me.
yeah. Yeah. It's a good point, and it's interesting that you value having the sort of juniors in your team and a mix of experience levels. Obviously, you want them to have the same enthusiasm as each other, and energy is important. there's a lot of juniors and graduates finding it a little bit tougher out there at the moment,
Yes,
probably because
absolutely.
organizations, they're restructuring, they're evaluating where AI fits into their business and plans. They're not finished doing that. Um, I always ask, what's one piece of advice you'd give to a junior or a graduate now, given your level of experience in the industry?
I think keep the eyes open, being curious, and is really what will make the difference.
Mm,
The skill set, I'm sure they all have. Definitely,
yeah,
it's something anyone can learn. Be curious, discover these new tools, whether it's around AI or not. It, I don't think that we should be replacing juniors by AI just because at some point we will need to hire some other people to
yeah,
reinforce the team, to replace the people. And if there is no one with who is hiring juniors, then there is no mid-level market. So
yeah,
we will have some issues. So I think it's very important as well with juniors. Um, it's it's fresh air for everyone, I think.
yeah.
And really, it can challenge the teams who are a bit in a routine and
Mm,
used to do what they are doing, not saying that they are doing it badly, or they just need a bit of challenge, a bit of different point of view. And if we can bring that to the team, it's really helping them consider the big picture and improve, whether it's about process, about ways of implementing, challenging them a bit further.
yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting. You mentioned earlier scaling the technology is high on your to-do list at the moment. What about scaling a team? Because you've built teams throughout your career, Fabrice. What breaks first when a technology team grows quickly or too quickly?
Um, Probably the lack of process. So when you're dealing with startups or small teams, everyone knows what everyone is doing. There is
Mm,
not really a need of process. I know what my neighbor is doing, and if they have a challenge, they will mention it immediately to the stand up or during lunch, whatever, and I can bring my help. As the team grows, it's unfortunately not true anymore. When you reach certain size, I guess it's about 15, 20, then you need to put in place some process. It will slow down, that's a drawback, definitely, but you need this process to get some like architecture validation. Because what used to be natural is the senior going to the junior to say, well, I heard you mentioned this earlier, maybe you should think to design it like that because you would
mm,
face these challenges otherwise. If you don't have that anymore, at some point with 20, 25 people, then you will not get the same experience and the same feedback on your
yeah,
architecture, on your design, on your implementation, and you will see some issues. So you need to
yeah,
put more procedures. And it's the same after 25, then you are good to go until you reach probably 60, 70, and then you hit another wall and you need to challenge that again. And at 200, you have another scale, and so on and so on.
yeah. Excellent, excellent. Probably a question that's a bit unique to your career, Fabrice, because phenomenal career, and then made the decision to come to Ireland. There'll be many people watching this who have either made that move or are thinking about it. So I could probably ask you 10 questions, but we'll start with what brought you to Ireland, and what advice would you give to other leaders in technology who are thinking about Ireland as an option?
Yes, I may just go back a little. So I
Mm,
worked in France, then I worked 12 years in Switzerland,
hmm.
where I had distributed team in Switzerland and many other countries. And then, yes, with my family, we decided to take the move to Ireland to, I guess, to challenge us, everyone, a bit. We came here in vacation first, just for
Okay.
holidays, 3 weeks, lovely. We loved the country, we loved the people, and at some point we were looking for some more challenge.
Mm.
I would I wouldn't say that everyone should take this move. I'm not everyone.
Yeah.
Just meaning that what fits me might not fit someone else.
Yeah.
But what I know is that everyone thought that I was crazy. Maybe I am, but I am very happy to have taken this move. So
Mm.
this is exactly what I would encourage everyone to do is if you really think that if you, sorry, going back, what I would encourage everyone to do is to take the move which fits them. So
Mm.
if you are wondering whether you should take this step or not, maybe it's that you should consider it really and take the step and go forward. And
Yeah.
even sometimes, yes, these steps seem very bold. Well, do it and see what happens.
Yeah. And why was it for you, Fabrice? You mentioned, you thought about it, you had a vacation to check the place out
Hmm.
to just make sure the weather's really bad. Yep, confirmed it
Exactly.
is. Um, but why was it right for you?
Good question.
Yeah.
Tough one. Um, so I had worked for 12 years in the same company
Hmm.
and not in very various roles. We had scale, same for probably 60 software engineers to more than 200. So definitely
Okay.
not the same position, not even maybe not the same department.
Yeah.
But I really need some more challenge.
Mm.
And I feared a bit that if I stayed at the same place, you know, everyone knows everyone. Even if it's competitors, you just know what they are doing, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. So I would say we needed challenge, and the best way to get that was to see something really different.
Yeah. No, interesting. And now a little feature for you, Fabrice, and we call it Ship Happens. Okay. So every technology leader has a moment when the things just don't go to plan. We call this section Ship Happens. Tell us about a time that ship happened.
There are so many.
Well, yeah.
So I guess the main issues which managers face are linked to customer issues.
Okay.
What I mean here is that you don't want to lose a customer.
Mm.
You can probably I can deal more easily with my teams and fixing things internally, while discussing with customers might be really tough. And yeah, all my memories of shit happens are probably linked to really bad issues that our customer faced. Mainly one which was probably like on 23rd of December. Everyone was abroad, just in the family, doing some, well, hoping to do some nice stuff and spend some quiet time. And no, we spent literally more than 48 hours trying to figure out what was the problem. So not everyone staying for 48 hours. We had a plan how to do that, and just yeah, it was really tough, and we were really happy on the 25th of December when we could find the root cause, correct it, or at least find a workaround that would lead us to beginning of January when everyone was back to work. These are the most stressful and yeah, not the best moment
Yeah.
when you
Oh,
leave them. Afterwards, really happy because it brings a lot of experience. And
yeah.
then you know how to prevent that or how to try to prevent that. We will never succeed to prevent that all the time, but we can put some things in place, whether it's in the same company or something somewhere else, we can try to do our best to avoid this to happen. And it not only for me, but I'm thinking of the team, of everyone who would be facing the same kind of issue. Nobody likes it. Well,
Yeah. And can you laugh about it now? Do you send a message at Christmas time to your former colleagues saying, do you remember that time?
yes, we do. We speak of it from time to time, not every
Yeah.
day, but yes, we speak of it, we laugh about it, and I think everyone is kind of happy of how it ends. The customer was not really mad at us, honestly, but it was, yeah, fintech is a world where everything goes fast, very fast,
Mhm.
and 48 hours might have huge impact. So, yeah, difficult moments, but now
Yeah.
we are safe. Everything is back to normal. It was years ago. Yeah, we can laugh of it. Not of all the issues that I faced, unfortunately. Some were really tough and don't really want to laugh about it, but
Yeah.
that's part of life.
That's perfect, Fabrice. Now we've only got time for one more question. We covered, a little bit about early career stuff, but
Mhm.
I think it's important for the mid-level engineers. Maybe they're around 4 to 6 years experience, let's say. If they feel they've stalled or they want to make the jump to senior and they haven't yet, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm trying to work on. The
Mm,
standard path is to become a senior software engineer and then to switch to management. I'm deeply convinced that this does not fit to everyone. And it's
mm,
not because you're a good software engineer that you will be a good manager. Some will be, definitely, some others won't. What I try to bring to my teams is a career path of excellence, which is not architecture. Architecture is another way. And so this makes, instead of two-way path, it becomes a three-way path: management, architecture, and subject matter expert,
mm.
so that people who want to develop and to continue to do that for 20, 30, 40 years do it and are become really, really good at it and can bring the skills, the experience to the company. So
Yeah.
my advice would be at some point to discuss this with your manager to say, hey, this is what I'm interested in for the next 2, 3 years. How can you help me get there? Sometimes it's management, sometimes it's architecture, and sometimes it's just I want to continue in what I'm good at for the moment because I love it and I want to continue into that. Can you
Yeah.
help me? And I hope the answer is yes, but it's not really standard.
Yeah, yeah. No, interesting. Well, look, thank you so much for the time, Fabrice. It's been an absolute
My
pleasure,
pleasure.
and I'm looking forward to all of our tech build network seeing this, and maybe they're seeing you for the first time, maybe they're not. But it's great to make connections and to tap into your expertise. So, look, we're in the middle of a heat wave in Ireland, Fabrice, and
Yes.
enjoy it, stay cool, and we'll catch up later on.
Thank you. Stay cool too.
Thank you. Bye bye.